was my first step on the of Facebook, which just seems like we just did more of everything. So more gluttony meant suddenly we probably needed to go to the liquor store again. And that meant when we're at our Kroger, we were suddenly needing to buy more brownie mix. At one point, I was at our Kroger, it's King Soopers in Colorado, and I decided I totally, absolutely had to buy that instant dough for cookies. You just break off the dough and put it in there. I've never bought that in my entire freaking life, and suddenly, gotta have it! And then what else with gluttony? What else did you go through? I know what you went through. You went through Netflix. I found myself watching. Can we just keep that between us? I found myself watching with my family. What was it called? The fashion thing. The Heidi Klum fashion show. Can't remember. What is the name of that show? Project Runway. All right, so no self-respecting dude can watch Project Runway and tell anybody about it, but I suddenly was watching it, and we freaking binge watched that thing. I don't mind telling you, I loved it because it was stupid, and we had nothing else to do. It was full on Project Gluttony. So let me know if you're out there, if you've heard anything that made you feel like you needed to do more. Let's see if I can switch slides for you. Oh, come on, you can do it. There we go. That's not happening, is it? Oh, there we go. Dang it. All right, stick with me. This is so cool. I got this really cool slide, but I don't know how to work it. Can I stay with me? Don't panic. So, as you know, you've been learning all kinds of software because of the pandemic, and I know I've been learning all kinds of software because of the pandemic. Been learning this one, but it turns out I've been half-assed. Oh, there it is. I think I got it. All right. Trying to do slides with a camera, not as easy as things. So, exercise, what's the deal with that? Did you do it? When you first got shut down for quarantine, did you start exercising more? Okay, I did, for two reasons. One, time. I had way more time. And two, for me, exercise is a huge way to temper my mental health. I tend to run anxious without it, so the more I exercise, the better I am. So suddenly when we're shut down and we're reading about, international problems and worried about our friends and worried about getting sick ourselves, I was out exercising all the time. Now, hopefully, you're impressed with me, because that sounds kind of cool, doesn't it? But here was the real truth. It had nothing to do with trying to be a badass. It had everything to do with managing my anxiety. And the hilarious part was after about 10 days of that, I could barely walk. I had to do telehealth with my doctor because I had a back pain and my joints hurt and everything was screwed up, which is really just testimony to I wasn't ready for it. So we found ourselves walking the dog like 4 times a day until the dog's like, I don't want to go. Then I was jogging like 3 and 4 miles a day, which for this body felt like a lot. How about you? Have you been exercising? What else we got? Let's go to another stage of pandemics. Depression. All right, how about you? Did it happen at all? A little bit, maybe? So here's what happened, right? When the pandemic hit, I first thought social media is awesome. Because no longer are people talking about their fabulous vacation and their amazing job. Everyone's talking about, oh crap, I'm bored and lonely and I'm at home. And then social media changed. At least I thought it did. And suddenly it felt like everybody in the world, or at least everybody on Facebook, was pandemicking better than I was. I kind of came up with the inescapable conclusion that I just suck at pandemics. Because, these guys, that guy's baking bread again. My gosh, this person's business is fantastic. And this person just loves being with their kids all the time and is not having any troubles at all. And I was like, I'm not having any of that except for exercise, which hurts more than I ever want to admit. So there was that, they're like, you look online and this person's doing TikTok videos with their kids, and this person has everlasting game night and they never get in fights. And I'm like, why does that not sound like me? Bottom line is what did sound like, what I did really hear was, I am pandemicking incorrectly, insufficiently, not that great. All right, next one. Let's do this, baby. Oh, there we go. So Marie Kondo moved in. Did you do this? When first pandemic hit, my wife and I, or actually me, I thought, let's keep our house neater than usual, because normally my wife and I are busy, and keeping everything perfect it's never been on our menu. But here we were, we knew we were going to be home a lot, and we were using the kitchen more and the house more, generally, and we thought, well, let's stay super neat. So we did, and I liked it, and I think for me, it just made me feel like I could control one thing. I couldn't control what I was reading every day in the New York Times. But, oh yeah, I can control where my socks go. I'm gonna make sure the lid goes on the toothpaste. Does that sound like you? And then, how long did that last? Because I can tell you right now, my lid is not on the toothpaste, and my socks are not in their drawer. Marie Kondo moved in and she moved out. Getting smart. So how about we were all drawn to the news, weren't we? This was so bonkers. They're shutting down Europe. They're shutting down countries. They're, corpses are piling up. Our country is crazed. And were you like me? Did you just go bonkers with news? So I did it all. I'm a big NPR fan, so I listen to NPR all the time. Even when I was jogging, I'm listening to the news, which was, of course, not good news. And I'm reading about stuff that just terrified the crap out of me, and I'm reading about people that just terrify the crap out of me. Does that sound like you? At first, I was just doing everything. I was logging on so much to my New York Times app that I was frustrated that it hadn't updated yet. Because, it has breaking news, and I'm like, I've already read this. Why don't they have breaking news? It's just that I was checking so frequently. Does that sound like you? Then, the backside of that stage probably is like me, that you realize you're watching the news too much. You're reading too much. Panic. That's another stage of pandemics, don't you think? Panic. All right, so first, it's like, oh, I guess this is happening. Oh, I guess this is happening. And then, holy mother of, it's happening. And then we start reading about things and wondering, oh, I need to do this. So I was pretty calm at the beginning of this, like not really worried about the health of me or my family, and not worried about shopping, and not worried about toilet paper, and not worried at all. And then people start talking about it so much, and you start reading about it, and you think, oh my God, I'm never going to get toilet paper. Well, I got to get toilet paper. And, I was reading in the news, we did not have a shortage of food supplies. And then I remember early on, here in Colorado, I went shopping with my daughter, came home from college, and we're in the shopping aisle. And I remember being in aisle 10, which happens to be where all the pasta is, and all of the canned beans, and all of the dried beans, and all of the soup. And it was, first of all, can we just talk about canned beans versus dried beans? Every single bean the King Super sells, every dried bean was gone. Who in the world cooks with dried beans? Like, I think in a normal life, nobody cooks with dried beans, except for like one grandma and that weird guy. You know him. And then suddenly I'm looking there, like, you can't buy a single dried bean of any type. Who buys dried garbanzo beans? They're out, for crying out loud. So I'm in aisle 10 with my daughter, and I just felt like we were visiting like the scene of a crime or the scene of a war or something, and it was just decimated. Obviously there was nothing there, so we should have moved out, but I just remember being transfixed and, looking this way and then turning around and looking the other way. I couldn't find anything. The only thing in that aisle, and this is not even an exaggeration, was 2 cans of cream of cauliflower soup. 2 cans of cream of cauliflower soup, and I'm looking at them, and so what did I do? I bought that stupid stuff. I'm like, oh, we gotta have it. Who eats cream of cauliflower soup? And suddenly I find myself like, I gotta have it. I didn't really buy it. But there was a lot of panic, wasn't there? Was that part of you? Like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do about toilet paper? I live in Colorado, and I live in a suburban house, so we just happen to have plenty of toilet paper on hand. We bought like a 24 pack, or I don't even know what. We had plenty. Our family wasn't. Our butts were not desperate. Did I say that? I did. Okay. But suddenly we find ourselves in panic. That's crazy. Ooh, I just jumped. Did you see that? Do that on a real stage, I ask you. Can you? I don't think you can. See if I can push forward. I got to figure out how to get these slides going faster, don't you think? Lying? Does that sound like you? Is that one of the stages of pandemics? Oh, MG. So, who do you lie with? I'm pretty sure all across America, people who are suddenly being forced to telecommute, working from home, are telling their boss, "Oh no, it's great. The fact that I'm home with my wife, my kids all the time, it's not distracting me at all. I'm totally productive. And the fact that I'm homeschooling, totally fine. I'm productive. And the fact that I'm in shell shock and the entire planet is messed up, I'm fine. I'm guessing tons of people were lying with their bosses. How about your spouse? Did you ever do that? Did you lie to your spouse? I know. I've been in here. I'm in my home office. Check this out. I'm in my home office. It looks less impressive with a sheet behind me, doesn't it? And, I know that I was in here trying to work, kind of telling myself I was working, so maybe I was lying to myself. Oh, yeah, I'm working. Then, I have to go report to my wife at the end of the day, like, how was it, honey? And I'm like, oh, got a lot done, a lot of research, learning a lot about virtual presentations. But really, I just watched way too many cat videos, and I did watch a YouTube video on how to set up a green screen, and then before you know it, I'm watching YouTube on how to be a jazz drummer, which I love. Definitely lying with your spouse. And then, raise your hand if you have not lied on social media. Oh no, I'm breaking bread all the time. Oh yeah, it just couldn't be better. It's just super productive. My book. I'm already halfway through a book, and also I'm learning Serbian, the language. It's very complicated, but surprisingly fascinating. And then, of course, I've just been studying. I'm just so trust that the libraries are closed, but thank heavens they have ebooks of all these. Does that sound familiar? If we got rid of social media, it would be great. We all post pictures of our food. Oh, this is a beautiful 4-course meal I made. No one's posting pictures of frozen pizza on Facebook, is it? And, is that a lie? I don't know. Hey, Nora Ann Burns. Mackenzie, nice to see you. What's up? 7 steps of pandemic. We're already, I hope you're not counting because we're way past 7. Are you counting? Can you some of you are very type A. It's getting you down. Disappointment's one, isn't it? So at first, we're all super pumped. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to be super productive. I'm going to get all this stuff done. I'm going to cook. I'm going to make bread. And then in the end, you're disappointed, aren't you? Just a little sometimes. Were you ever disappointed in yourself? I was. Holy cow. So, yeah, suddenly I'm sleeping in late, and then I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll make that up. I'll stay up late and work in my office. And then like 8:30 comes up, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. And the only thing I really accomplished was watching a whole bunch of old vaudeville videos on YouTube. Yeah, that can be kind of disappointing. Not quite as productive as you'd like to think you were. That sound right? I was disappointed in myself. How many of you did home projects that didn't turn out so well, so you're a little disappointed? Anybody? So, okay, true story. We get 2 duplicate lawnmowers. Long story. We just have 2. Just get over it. We have 2 duplicate lawnmowers, and neither one of them will start because it's the beginning of the season. So normally, in any other year, I would take those bad boys to Lawnmowers R Us and get them fixed. But I'm like, no, I got plenty of time. I'm going to learn this. I'm a smart guy. I'm going to learn how to start these things. So I start hitting up YouTube all the time, and I call a really good friend of mine, play hockey with him, and Matt's giving me advice. And everybody says, including Matt, it's the carburetor. So I cleaned that carburetor, which is kind of impressive. But what did it take? Cleaning the carburetor took 3 trips to the auto supply store because I didn't have the right stuff. Then I bought the wrong stuff. Then the stuff I needed a little straw. The carburetor fluid comes with a straw, and I didn't know I needed that, and I had to go back, and I didn't know I had this too. So now I'm like 3 trips to the auto supply store with my little mask, and I'm $28 into what probably is a $40 service, and I've cleaned that carburetor, and finally, after cleaning it 3 times, it starts, and I am like, hi, I'm so happy. I'm like, mm-hmm. And then the funniest thing, though, is that took about 2 weeks to get that first lawnmower started. And Steve, my very cool across the street neighbor, super kind guy, he can't figure out what the hell Brad Montgomery is doing because he sees me out there all the time fixing, and he calls out, I thought you fixed that thing. And I'm like, I had to go get a different part. Well, I thought you were fixing it. Yeah, it didn't work. I thought you cleaned the carburetor. Yeah, I had to clean it again. So, he's undoubtedly thinking I'm just such a complete dork. And then I got it started, so I'm super happy. Now it's easy because I have a duplicate lawnmower. It doesn't start. I know exactly how to clean the carburetor because I've had to clean it so many times. I have all the tools. I'm ready. So I clean that bad boy, and I do it awesome the first time, and I put it back on, and it won't start. It's not the carburetor because I know a lot. It's not the carburetor, so I'm pulling the cord on the damn lawnmower that won't start, and I know it's not the carburetor, and I'm just like, I think magic is going to start. An angel is going to come and start my lawnmower, and I pull that damn cord, and Steve, my neighbor, walks by, and he knew that I got it fixed, but he doesn't know that I have a duplicate, so he's just looking at the same lawnmower like, you are such a loser, you can't. So still, my second lawnmower doesn't start. Amazon.com is sending me a new spark plug, which a neighbor had to lend me that's been a disappointing experience. I'm on week 3 of fixing 2 easy lawnmowers, and only one of them works. How about it? If you're disappointed, give me some thumbs up, people. You guys are fun. So Facebook Live, are you learning anything new with the pandemic? I feel like everything I'm doing is new. Definitely the software is new, but I think it's kind of cool, don't you? Isn't it fun to have brick? Look, I have a fake brick wall behind me, and fake, there it is, and a fake arm that just comes on and off. Fake brick wall with fake graffiti. I'm killing it in the artificial stuff, aren't I? Let's talk about anger as a step in pandemic. So, did you get angry? Because I did. Are you super pissed at the virus? Period. Super pissed at my. I'm a speaker, so my schedule just blew up and it's gone. I was pretty pissed about that. There's no one to be pissed at. I was angry. And then, who else did I get mad at? I kind of got mad at my peers. Good. I looked on Facebook and everybody's killing it on Facebook, except for me. So I'm mad at my peers, and I'm like, I don't even know if I believe them. Turns out I don't need to believe a lot of them. Does that sound familiar to you at all? Everyone's talking about, I'm pivoting in my business to virtual programs. And I'm like, really? I got a green screen, but I'm not sure I'm pivoting yet. And then, I was even pissed at my kids. Did you get pissed at your family at all? So true story, the quarantine's just really starting. And so I went to the liquor store because I'm not stupid, yo. And I like beer, so I'm there with my kid, and she talks me into buying really good beer. So we buy like fancy beer, delicious beer, 2 6-packs. And normally, by the way, Kim and I are empty nesters, and now everybody's back. So we have 3 college-age kids back, plus a Danish exchange kid. So now we have 6 near adults in my house. So I buy 2 6-packs of beer, falsely thinking that was plenty, falsely thinking that because this would last around 2 or 3 months pre-pandemic, it was going to last definitely for a long time. So I have 2 fancy things of beer, and then I swear, 2 days later, I'm looking in the fridge trying to find a single beer, and they're gone. Because my kids drank the beer, yo, and I'm like, I didn't. They're allowed to drink the beer. They're old enough, but so that pissed me off. So I'm at Walmart grocery shopping, and Walmart sells beer. And I think, well, I'll teach them. So I buy cheap beer. I buy Bud Light. I buy a 15-pack because I like Bud Light, because I like to drink beer Mexican style with tons of lime and chili and ice even. Yeah, for real. And I'm like, well, that'll show them. And then how many of those 15 beers did I get? 1 beer. Urgh! Kids. All right, so let's talk about you. I've been joking. I've been playing around with this. Isn't that neat how it screen switched? Did you see that? That was kind of cool. I know. But here's what I know. I know that, like me, you're probably overwhelmed. Like me, you're not positive what to do. Like me, your productivity probably has dropped. And like me, your performance has probably dropped because of the pandemic and all the uncertainties and if, when, and how, and what. All these things that make us sleep bad. There is one thing I know that you're good at. we're all good at, which is helping other people. And when I'm working normally in front of an audience, I remind people of the power of encouragement and social support. Social support. Our professional speaker. I remind people about the power of social support. Social support. Oh, for crying out loud! And how that helps us get what we want. And I know now, during the pandemic, when things are bonkers, you still have that skill, don't you? You are able to encourage and motivate others and try to get more out of them. You are able to improve your day by helping someone else improve their day. You're able to help yourself by helping others. And that's one of the things that not only I think is what makes our planet special and our species special, but it's what makes you special. Aw. So keep your chin up. I know it's hard. Try to stay healthy. Try not to get too many boxes of brownie mix. My favorite. Don't forget that as freaked out as you are, everybody around you is probably even more freaked, and they need you to be calm and to be steady and to be honest and authentic and just be there as a force for good. You guys rock. My name is Brad Montgomery. I'm so glad. Thank you for Nora Ann Burns. You're here. Mackenzie, John Cilio. And there's this one awesome woman. Who is that? Kim Woldridge. Who is Kim Woldridge? Who is Kim Woldridge? That's my wife. Thanks, Kim. All right. You guys are awesome. Make it a great day. Take care.